Are you asking yourself the question, does IUL really work? Does a laser fund really work? Well, I'm excited to be able to come back here today and show you again yet more evidence and another policy that shows an actual results of a client and how IUL is working for him. Hi, my name is Emron Andrew. I'm excited to be back with you here again today for part 2 of this client feature where we want to show you how IUL, how a laser fund has worked for this client. Now this is part 2 because this is his second policy. So he started his first policy. This is my client as a 30-year-old, started his very first IUL. He is a day trader. And after he started this first policy, he wanted to go 2 years later, he wanted to start a second IUL. Now, why would you need to start a second IUL or second laser fund? Well, again, when you set up a laser fund and you structure these properly, when you set a limit of how much you can put in there, you're limited on, you get to choose the limit, but you're limited on how much you can put in based on that original amount that you decided on. Now, he was doing well. His income was going up. He was making more money. He wanted to open up yet another laser fund IUL to sock away even more of his serious cash. So as his income goes up, he wanted to open up yet another policy. This is very common with many of our clients, especially many of our younger clients, because as they get going in them, they love and they're maximum funding them as you have more money. You need to open up yet another bucket or another bucket in order to accommodate those new funds and that new money here. So let me dive into this policy with you here. He pulled out this policy back in 2015. And I want to pull up his original projection here. So when I pull up his original projection, you can see on the screen right here that we were showing him under the original projection here, starting at age 32. Sorry, excuse me. Let me go ahead and pull that up. At age 32 right here, he was going to put in $30,000, then $24,000, $24,000, $18,000, and $24,000 here. So about 140, just not quite 150,000, but 130 to 140,000 dollars right here. His accumulation value here, of course, once again, your accumulation value is how much money you have in your account earning interest. His cash value or surrender value is how much money he has in an account that is liquid. Okay, and then of course we have the death benefit. Now this time, because he was putting in more money here, you can see his death benefit, his minimum death benefit was $1,079,713. That's the minimum death benefit he had to have in order to allow him under the law to be able to put in those kind of premiums. So those are the maximum premiums for that death benefit right here. Now, as we see here in the accumulation value, this is what we're projecting as it runs down through the next 10 years. The surrender values, it runs down through the next 10 years as well. So let's look and see where we're currently at. So this projection right here would have been where we were supposed to be in 2016. So if you pulled out the policy in 2015, by the end of the year in 2016, a year later in 2016, this is what we were projecting that he would have. In 2017, 2018, 19, 20, 21, and now right here, we are now in 2022. Okay, so this is what we are projecting he's supposed to have is $132,227. Now, unlike his very first policy, we actually ended up almost being 2 years ahead of schedule. Even with a 0% year this last year, we're still 1 year ahead of schedule. Well, let's see what's going on with this current policy. So with this current policy right here, we're going to jump into his statement. And as I jump into his statement right here, you're going to see this is the statement ending in March of 2022. He has a ending balance right here. So his accumulation value at the end of this reporting period is $126,210. So on that IUL right here, we're actually a little bit behind schedule because we're supposed to be at 132,000 and he's at 126,000. So over here above here, we're almost 1 year behind on this particular IUL. And why is that? Well, again, as we look at the market, returns for the last 6-7 years, we've got some 0% returns in there and lower returns with that. So, well, am I worried about this? No, I'm not worried about this at all because I believe this policy, especially this next year, as the market rebounds. Okay, as the market rebounds, we should be able to get some terrific double-digit returns and jump right back on schedule here. So we're very much likely able to jump right back here where next year we could easily be at 139,000 or even 146,000. In fact, we can maybe even look and see how much would we need to earn in order to get there. Because if we're at $126,000, by next year I'd like to be at 129. So I need to make about $13,000 in interest net above fees. So that means I probably need to make, if his fees are $2,000 and $700, so he's got $3,000. So I need to make about $16,000, which is going to be about 13%, 14 to 15% in interest this next year. Now, we have done that many times on this policy. And so we're looking at that saying, yeah, we're able to go ahead and get close to or get caught back up. And I'm not worried about getting caught back up. This client is very familiar with how his IUL works, and he's very excited and knows that he will get caught back up here. Because you can see this last year right here, the 4,000, he only made $4,789 in interest this last year. That was divided up between a couple different accounts. You can see he's got 25% of his money right here, $31,000, in an account that did 2%. Okay, the market actually was negative, but he had a 2% guaranteed floor on that particular money, so he got 2% on that. Over here, he's got $31,000 in the S&P monthly sum. And the S&P was up just a little bit in March to March, so we got 4.42%. Okay, and then we come down here to some other ones where he had 25% in this account right here. This only did 0.35%, and 25%, $31,000, did 8.82%. So, not a terrible year, not a great year, but not a terrible year either. And that is, again, the value and the strength of IUL. Is that even in years like we're having right now, where the market is very volatile, it's very tumultuous, a lot of people are actually losing money. This client right here is not losing money. And even with a very mediocre the last couple of years, and we're looking forward to here, he knows that he is way ahead of most of his friends. I mean, he's even looking at his day trading here, and as he day trades, he's like, Emron, I can lose money. I lose actually quite a bit of money each and every day, or I make quite a bit of money each and every day. He knows exactly how volatile the market is. And that is one reason why he loves putting his serious cash into his laser funds, into his IUL. Because he knows better than, that's all he does for a living, is watch the market each and every day. And so his serious cash goes here. He's not afraid that he's ahead on his first policy. He's a year ahead. In this one, he's a year behind. And he knows it's going to even itself out. He's going to catch right back up over the course of the next several years here. And we're going to be still hitting every single one of his financial goals. So I hope you can see as well how an IUL can create liquidity, safety, rates of return, and not only that, these are tax-free. So if you're afraid of what's going on politically or economically, and you want to protect your money, consider an IUL today.